I guess the first thing I should touch on is just the bare facts about what we're looking at and what it's comprised of. It's made of 15,000 recycled plastic bottles, similar to the one in my hand. Everything from soda to water to juice, whatever happened to be in the waste stream is what I use as my material for this. All the green ones are ginger ale and Sprite and that kind of thing. So that gives you a little bit of insight into the process. These bottles are not naturally this color. I take an airbrush and mix polyacrylic with tint so I can get whatever color I want, and it's all water-based and non-toxic. So I try throughout the process to be continually striving to be as environmentally conscious as possible. And then there are, there's the main component, which is this tunnel situation that you can walk through and explore. And there are these individual hanging components. And the individual hanging components, there are 40 of them, 35 of which have solar-powered LED lights inside of them. And there are the solar panels, you can see them up in the skylights, that power the entire piece. In terms of how I created the piece, I came here to Rice about 1.5 years ago, I think, and did a site survey and was really impressed by the architecture. And I really love the arched windows and the shapes of all the limbs of the trees outside. So hopefully you can see some of that mirrored in the piece. Ultimately, all my work is really based on these nightmares that I had when I was a little kid, about these horrible blobs that would emerge from this terrible string-like mass. It was a complete landscape that I would find myself totally submerged in. Now the palette wasn't as sweet and pretty and happy maybe as this palette is, but the point behind all my work is to take something negative and try to change the direction that it's going in and turn it into something positive. So the body seemed like, it relies on sunlight. It's made of all these smaller constituents. It has this, vast wilderness of unknowns, similar to outer space or the deep sea. And there's still so much to be learned and understood. And fear and nightmares, usually there's a relationship between that which we don't know and fear. So I thought this would be a perfect place to start exploring. And so I spent a lot of time looking at the Center for Disease Control website and various medical illustrations. A lot of energy went into making these 15,000 bottles in the first place. And having circumvented their trajectory, like they were heading downwards into the waste stream, into either landfill or maybe the really costly process of recycling, which takes even more energy. So I thought to myself, why not use human energy and hands of other artists and share this experience of transformation with as many people as possible. Cleaning them is actually one of the most labor-intensive parts of the process. It depends on the type of bottle. Some of them take longer than others, but first you have to take the label off, and then you have to get all this adhesive residue off, which if you don't do that perfectly, then the paint won't stick to it in a consistent, diaphanous fashion, which is absolutely crucial. Essentially, for the main component, everything was pre-assembled into smaller sort of structural parts. The main structure are these ribs that you see that create the archways, and those are made out of predominantly Poland spring bottles prior to their new bottle, which uses 30% less plastic, and it's their eco bottle. So those I will never be able to make again unless some other bottle company manufactures a similar form. But they create the basic structure, and I called them the ribs. I was trying to sort of emulate the way the body is structured. And on top of the ribs, connecting those together are these kind of, originally we called them rice plates, which are these sort of clusters of bottle bottoms. But then they became better known as freckles, moles, cysts, hairy moles. What else do we have? Pimples. The reddish ones are the pimples. ingrown hairs. We have some of those. I'm trying to, create an affection for our affliction of being human.